Here I want to do another video about the Las Vegas shooter Stephen Paddock based on the interviews his brother Eric gave in front of his house 1 and 2 days after the shooting. In particular, I wanted to investigate more about the shooter's motive, and so this will be a little bit more about psychology. Okay, let's listen to the brother Eric again.
There's just nothing, we got nothing to give you. There's just nothing. He was just a guy. Yeah, I guess he was just a guy.
But was he just a guy? Let's look at his relation to his dad and the family's attitude towards guns. Often these things are hard to realize when you're in your own family, because this is all you know. This is like being in a little bubble.
Does she know what happened?
My mom knows what happened, yeah. We all found out when our phone started ringing with the cops at 1 o'clock this morning or something. It had nothing to do with any political organization, religious organization, no white supremacists, nothing, as far as I know.
Okay, if you believe him, there were no political and religious issues.
I've only known him for 57 years.
Your father was a bank robber?
That's correct.
He moves away from the question. He closes his eyes very briefly. So he doesn't like this question.
I mean, here, we're all proud. My father was on the top 10 list for a while. His name's Benjamin Hotchkiss Paddock, I believe is his name. I didn't know him.
Okay, so the father was a bank robber on the FBI's top 10 list, and Eric didn't know his father.
We didn't know him. He was in jail and broken out of jail.
Does he have a history at all of?
He doesn't even have parking tickets.
Okay, so there's no criminal record. So this was the interview from day 1 after the shooting. Let's go to the day 2 interview.
My mom was born in the Depression. She's had a tough life. Her husband was a total. He ran off, left her with 4 kids. She raised 4 kids.
So he says her husband was an asshole. So he doesn't call him father or dad, he calls him her husband. So that's significant.
To take care of Mary Lou, and you guys think he's an evil genius.
Okay, an interesting choice of words, evil genius.
Took care of the people who he was friends with, who he was with. And, if you think he's such an evil genius, how could he not just manipulate Mary Lou?
You used the phrase evil genius. Do you think that he was?
I'm sorry. I mean, that's the thing I shouldn't have said. But that's what people are, that he's this.
The evil genius statement is also now noticed by the reporters.
Take a village for Steve. Steve was I'm sorry.
Eric is correcting himself. That's self-censoring. He wanted to say apparently army of one. It's an interesting choice of words.
Because and this is what sucks, I'm going to use the same terms. I'm just a guy.
But is he really just a guy?
Here's Eric Paddock. I was the youngest son. I grew up with a single mom. Steve was like the dad, sir. He took me camping.
Okay, so it's also very significant that Stephen was like a dad to him.
Yesterday you were wondering about where he got the automatic weapons. It's come out that he purchased 2 bump stocks, which are things that...
Those are things that you add to a gun that only make 2,
Wow. So I didn't know what a bump stock is. So the reporter brings it up now, and he has no problem finishing the sentence. So he's slightly getting ahead of himself now. He's certainly at this moment exposing himself to know a lot about guns.
Did he have fully automatic weapons? I don't know this anymore. The feds aren't telling me anything. So, the pictures what you're hearing from the feds is more than they're telling me. Have any of you ever fired an automatic weapon?
So apparently this question means he fired some himself.
It's not fun. You can go do it for, you give them some money and they'll let you go shoot a machine gun in Las Vegas. Okay? It's not fun. You have to be a little weird because it beats the crap out of you. My mom's not into guns at all. Her husband went to jail for robbing banks with a machine gun.
So now we know the dad used machine guns to rob banks.
You're not going to. A normal person is not going to hold a machine gun and shoot 100 rounds out of it. It'd rip your shoulder off. If you've ever shot a real rifle, you don't pull the trigger on a .223 a bunch of times. I have a...
Okay, so certainly now he knows his guns. So he knows how it feels to shoot a gun. He shot some before. He also knows what a .223 is. I didn't know that. It's some sort of machine gun. So that's all significant.
Fake shoulder. But it's not because of guns, but I could not even shoot a .223 if I wanted to. So, and I don't own one. I don't own a semi-automatic. Well, I do. I own it.
Okay, so now he owns semi-automatic guns. Fantastic.
22 caliber. little semi-automatic rifle that I taught my children how to shoot
Wow.
targets at the range.
Okay, maybe that's an average American family, but so there are a lot of red flags and similarities, of course, between Stephen and his dad. Okay, what have we learned? So Stephen apparently had no political and religious affiliations. His father was a bank robber and used machine guns in particular to rob banks. Eric called him husband of the mom or an asshole. Eric said Steve was like a father to him, so he replaced his father. He fills his vacuum. We also know Eric knows about bump stocks and 223s, and he even owns a semi-automatic gun, and he shot it with his son. So is this just the average American family believing in Second Amendment, or is there something else going on? Here I briefly wanted to talk about Systemic Family Constellation. That's a group therapy approach to family issues. Most people have not heard about this, and this might give some answers about the motive. So the idea with the Systemic Family Constellation is that a family is a system where everyone is allowed to be a part of. No one can be cast out. If someone is cast out or if there are any family secrets, this has damaging effects on future generations. Present day problems or even character or motivation of people in a family are a result of traumatic events suffered in previous generations of a family. And even if those affected are unaware of the original events, this is according to Bert Hellinger, a German psychiatrist. So traumatic events have systemic entanglements. That's what they're called. If people don't have their proper place in a family system, they do all kinds of odd stuff and a lot of damaging things and can harm themselves or others. So how does it matter? This might hint towards a motive. First, the father was using machine guns to rob banks and was put in jail. He was probably demonized by the mom. Eric did not even call him father, but the mother's husband. Second, Steve was like a father to the youngest, Eric. But the two middle siblings we don't know anything about, and they had no relation to Steve or Eric, as far as we know. So this is often the result of someone taking the place of the father that leads to tension and difficult family dynamics. If the father is not allowed to have his proper place in the family system. Third, gambling addiction. This is often the result when someone is not allowed to take the father as his father. For instance, if the mother does not allow it, if he is called bad or evil, then if he is not allowed to take whatever is offered from the father, then he takes revenge, according to the Systemic Family Constellation work. So he takes revenge and he takes from him so much because he is not allowed to be part of the system that it damages him. Addiction is a revenge for the father being an outcast, not being part of the family. Fourth, so finally, Stephen is loyal to the father. He doesn't rob banks with a machine gun, but he takes money from the casino and he lives the life of a gangster. And finally, he uses a machine gun like his dad. In a sense, he becomes like his father. So this is what a systemic entanglement would be like. So Systemic Family Constellation can give insights into the behavior or motive of individuals if they don't make any sense any other way. Okay, I hope you liked the video and talk to you next time.